The lavished Denmark wedding. Princess Leonor's dress becomes the 2025 bridal trend everyone wants. They said no royal gown could ever rival Princess Diana's. They said modern brides no longer dreamed of fairy tales. But that was before Princess Leonor of Spain walked down the aisle in Denmark, and changed the world's idea of bridal beauty forever. Because this wasn't just a royal wedding dress. It was a cultural shift, a design so breathtaking, so unexpected, that within hours, designers, stylists, and brides across the globe were calling it the Leonor effect. And in 2025, every bride wants to wear it. It began with a single whisper inside Copenhagen Cathedral. When Leonor stepped through the grand doors, the audience gasped, not because of the diamonds, not because of the tiara, but because her gown looked alive. Soft silver light shimmered across it like moonlight on calm water. The dress seemed to move with her heartbeat, a perfect union of tradition and modern grace. Every camera clicked. Every spectator fell silent. And in that moment, it wasn't just a royal entrance, it was a moment of history reborn. The design that broke boundaries. The dress was the creation of Lorenzo Caprile, Spain's master couturier, in collaboration with Danish designer Cecilie Bonson, a first-of-its-kind royal partnership symbolizing the union between Spain and Denmark. The gown combined the precision of Spanish craftsmanship with the ethereal minimalism of Nordic design. Made of handwoven silk mikado, embroidered with silver threads and crystal dust, the fabric itself took over 1,000 hours to complete. Its shape defied expectation, neither fully traditional nor modern, but fluid, sculpted, regal. The neckline was delicately off-shoulder, echoing Queen Letitia's wedding dress from 2004, but softer, more poetic. The sleeves, light and sheer, whispered of Danish simplicity. And then came the train, nearly 5 meters long, embroidered with patterns inspired by the coat of arms of Asturias and the Nordic sea waves. It wasn't just a dress. It was a story, of heritage, power, and young womanhood. The symbolism hidden in every stitch. Every part of Leonor's gown carried meaning. The silver embroidery represented unity, the blending of two royal houses. The faint blue undertones in the veil paid tribute to the Spanish flag's royal blue, while the lace pattern mirrored ancient Danish motifs. Even the pearl sewn along the waistline came from Majorca, a quiet nod to her childhood summers and her grandmother Queen Sophia's beloved homeland. The veil, hand-tied by Spanish artisans, was light as mist, yet it told centuries of royal legacy in every fold. As she walked through the cathedral, it caught the candlelight, creating the illusion of a halo around her, a vision so divine, even the crowd forgot to breathe. Fashion critics reacted instantly. By the time the ceremony ended, global fashion houses had already taken notice. Within hours, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Elle declared it the bridal look that redefined the decade. In Madrid, bridal ateliers began receiving hundreds of inquiries asking for the Leonor silhouette. Designers from Paris to Tokyo began sketching replicas, calling it the most influential royal gown since Kate Middleton's. On social media, hashtags like #Leonor dress and #the new royal look trended in 48 countries within 24 hours. But what truly made it viral wasn't luxury, it was emotion. Because when Leonor turned to face her future husband, Prince Christian of Denmark, and her veil glowed in the cathedral's light, the world didn't see royalty. It saw real love. Queen Letitia's reaction broke the internet. During the ceremony, Queen Letizia couldn't contain her emotion. When she saw her daughter walking down the aisle, the camera caught her whisper, "Es perfecta, she's perfect." That clip spread faster than any news headline. Spanish mothers commented, "That's every mother's dream." Fashion critics said, "This is how a new generation of queens is born." Later that night, at the royal banquet, Queen Letizia revealed something no one expected. The embroidery pattern on the back of Leonor's dress was her idea. A private mother-daughter secret, shared months before the wedding, a quiet nod to legacy and love. It wasn't just fashion. It was family. The moment the world fell silent. When Leonor reached the altar, Prince Christian turned, eyes wide. He had seen her countless times before, but never like this. Even through royal composure, you could see it, his lips trembling, his eyes soft. And then, as she took his hand, he whispered something that lip readers later confirmed. "You look like the dawn." That one line, replayed millions of times on social media, became symbolic. It wasn't just romantic, it captured the mood of the entire event. A royal dawn. A new beginning. The dress after the ceremony. After the cathedral ceremony, Leonor changed, but not completely. For the royal banquet at Frederiksborg Palace, she appeared in a reimagined version of her wedding dress, sleeveless, lighter, and adorned with crystal embroidery shaped like waves. The media called it the transformation look. Fashion editors praised it for redefining royal post-wedding elegance, something bold, youthful, yet timeless. And it was that second version that truly cemented the global trend. Designers began producing simplified versions of the Leonor cut, structured bodice, floating skirt, subtle silver detailing, and within weeks, bridal boutiques from Madrid to Los Angeles reported record demand. The Leonor effect, a global fashion movement. By spring 2025, the Leonor effect was unstoppable. Celebrities wore Leonor-inspired designs at red carpets. Runway shows in Paris adopted silver thread detailing and ethereal veils. Bridal influencers across TikTok and Instagram began posting tutorials titled, How to Recreate the Princess Leonor Look. Even established fashion houses like Dior and Balmain released limited collections inspired by the gown. They described it as a balance between grace and modern empowerment. Because Leonor's dress didn't just celebrate royalty, it celebrated womanhood, independence, and elegance without excess. It became a statement: you can be royal without being unreachable. Behind the design, the making of a masterpiece. The gown took over 6 months to create. Spanish silk was woven in Granada, the embroidery handcrafted in Valencia, and the crystal set by Danish jewelers from Copenhagen. Each fitting was done in secret, hidden from the media under the guise of diplomatic visits. Only Queen Letizia, her chief stylist Eva Fernandez, and designer Caprile knew the final look. On the final night before the wedding, Leonor reportedly stayed awake until 2 a.m., writing a handwritten thank you note to the design team. The note simply read, "You didn't make a dress. You made a legacy." Royal family's private reactions. After the ceremony, inside the palace's private suite, King Felipe reportedly told his daughter, "You carried Spain with grace." And Prince Christian's mother, Crown Princess Mary of Denmark, was seen hugging Leonor tightly, whispering, "You've made our family proud." Those intimate exchanges, caught in unofficial footage, humanized the royal families in a way rarely seen before. It wasn't about pomp, it was about connection. Fashion analysts declare a turning point. By mid-2025, experts declared that Leonor's gown had officially ended the minimalist bridal era. Gone were the plain silk columns and modern simplicity, replaced by detailed embroidery, meaning-driven patterns, and heirloom-inspired craftsmanship. In short, Leonor brought storytelling back to wedding fashion. Brides no longer just wanted to look royal. They wanted to feel like their wedding meant something deeper, something symbolic, emotional, historic. Spain's emotional response. Back home, Spain celebrated as if it had gained more than a queen, as if it had rediscovered its spirit. Royal fans filled Madrid's Plaza de Oriente, holding banners that read, Nuestra Reina, Nuestro Orgullo, our queen, our pride. Across Spanish television, commentators replayed every second of her walk down the aisle. And even critics who once questioned the monarchy admitted, Leonor had given Spain something no politician could: unity, pride, and beauty. Denmark's pride. For Denmark, it was equally historic. The royal family praised Leonor's ability to merge cultures with grace. Danish designers celebrated how she honored local artistry through her gown's details. In Copenhagen fashion schools, young designers began referring to her as the muse of diplomacy. Because she didn't just marry into a royal house, she merged two traditions through style. A dress that outlived its moment. Months after the wedding, replicas of Leonor's gown are displayed at both the Royal Palace of Madrid and Frederiksborg Castle as cultural artifacts. Tourists line up daily to see them, whispering in awe. Experts predict that her dress will influence royal fashion for decades, much like Grace Kelly's and Kate Middleton's did in their time. But Leonor's gown stands apart because it represents something more than beauty. It represents balance, between duty and heart, between heritage and the modern woman she has become. And so, in a world where trends fade by the hour, Princess Leonor created something timeless. Not just a dress, but a dream. A vision of what it means to be royal in the modern world, elegant, authentic, and brave enough to be different. As the lights dimmed in Copenhagen that night, her gown shimmered like the northern stars. And the world knew, this was more than fashion. It was history, woven in silk. Because when the future Queen of Spain said, "I do," she didn't just change royal tradition. She changed how the world defines beauty.